Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the second Dhamma discussion. So as usual, Chandrika is ready with the written reports and questions. So we will start with written reports.
Avasarai Bhante, we have received 7 reports today. Report number 1. Avasarai Bhante, I am new to Sakman Bhavana. I have been doing sitting meditation, observing sensations and also using relevant protective meditation techniques. In walking meditation, before turning and after turning, as I understood, we observe bodily sensation. Can you please explain how deep this should be done, within brackets?
Sorry. Can you repeat that?
In walking meditation, before turning and after turning, as I understood, we observe bodily sensation. Can you please explain how deep this should be done, within brackets, as in subtle or gross level, brackets closed. Further, the focus while walking is given to the soles, and that's when the understanding of elements is maintained. Please advise if this is correct. With metta, Thero Sarana.
Actually, we can't say immediately we are arriving the sensations. So sensations are there, but the problem is that our mind get distracted because we see things, hear things, and we have to volitionally walk. So therefore, we can't properly focus very precisely to sensations at the beginning, though they are there. So therefore, it's a kind of a stepwise process, as we discussed during the yesterday's Dhamma sermon, as this Sayadaw Pandita mentioned. So at first, it is very much like we are putting our attention to the whole walking body. So the body is walking. So we recognize that posture. Okay, this body is walking. Gaccanto gaccamiti pajanati. So while the body is walking, okay, I am fully aware, now the body is walking. Now the body is walking. Now the body is walking. It's a very, very basic level of establishment of mindfulness in the walking body. And assume now this is successful. And after that, maybe you are paying more attention to the, say, below the knees. And then very much like the movements are recognized, again and again the movements are happening. Now probably you interpret that experience as it's very much like a rotation of a wheel, maybe like paddling a bicycle, rowing a boat. So you further simplify this whole experience. It is not that I am walking, rather it's very much like paddling a bicycle, very much like turning wheel, maybe like rowing a boat, because it's again and again a repeated activity. That's another level. So you recognize the kind of the position, the situation of the body during, now you are a little further gone to the inside of the particular process. It will go on to the depth of the process, the walking process. At another level, as you are continuing, then you may understand, okay, again and again the foot is touching the ground, there's a hardness, there is sometimes it may be softness, and maybe the weight transfers from one leg to the other end, and sometimes may be vibrations, and certain points may be, say, roughness, smoothness, maybe, say, heat, cold. All these kind of very primary characteristics are available, and whole walking process is nothing but this. So we simply say it is walking, but if we go to a deeper level, you may understand it's a manifestation of all these different elements. So while walking also different elements, while standing also different elements, while turning also different elements, again, when you are coming back also, different elements. So the whole, throughout the walking session, what you experience is different manifestations of the elements. That's it. So therefore, either you sit or either you walk. So once you step into elements meditation, what you experience is nothing but the elements, their characteristics, their behavior. Say, for example, when hardness, roughness, smoothness, softness, heaviness, lightness, those things are there, that is where the earth element is very much talking to us. So it is there, its presence is available. And time to time we can understand, okay, now this fellow is the one most prominent. The other three may be present, but this guy is the most prominent one, the earth element. Say the vibrations are there, the movements are there. That if that becomes the most prominent, then we understand, okay, the air element is the one most prominent. So likewise, time to time, different elements can become prominent, and it is not something that we manipulate, we control. Rather, we simply walk, but the different elements become prominent at different times. And we simply observe that in a non-judgmental way. So if you need any further clarification, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we are moving forward.
Sorry. Report number 2, respected Bhante, walking meditation. First, few thoughts came to my mind. Then I focused on one feet, Ussanava, Geniyanava, Tabanava. Then thoughts reduced. Then I noticed this 1 feet sensation as it touches the ground is impermanence. One feeling when the feet touches the ground is different to next step, same as the raindrops. One raindrop also never occurs twice. Then sitting meditation. First on metta meditation and next to anapanasati. Able to focus on the breath up to 20 breaths. My breath became so subtle as I couldn't find the start, middle, end of the breath. Please advise Bhante.
And she's can't find the start, sorry?
Can't find the start, middle, end of the breath.
Mm-hmm.
Beginning, middle, end of the breath.
So, your examination is fine, but it may take a while for you to recognize it. But on the other hand, there may be a stage that you are recognizing it. But as you grow, you can't recognize it. That's also not, may I know who has written it? Don't like to come forward? So the thing is, now at the beginning it's difficult because your mind gets distracted and not enough mindfulness is available. So these problems are there. But later, say your mindfulness is available and you are clearly trying to comprehend this whole process, then slowly the whole process becomes evident to you. And now you know the beginning, middle, end, gap, beginning, middle, end, gap. So likewise the whole process is quite evident. But the beauty is, at another level, after a couple of days or weeks, then you can't recognize all these details. You merely know, okay, there is some kind of a sensation is there. Maybe you can't even distinguish whether it is in-breath or out-breath. Those labels are also dropped. And mere sensations are there, but you can't name it. That is not a bad thing, by the way. It is not a decline of your mindfulness, rather it's the progress of the method.
There is a day-to-day activities also in that. Focus on 4 elements as I touch the pen as Patavi. My body inside, example skeleton also Patavi. Sattvayaku Pudgalayaku nomati bhava. Water as Apo. When washing hands, my body inside also Apo. Blood plus Sattvayaku Pudgalayaku nomati bhava. Please advise.
Here you may be thinking in a way. You are a little extending your experience to the thinking. It's not necessary. So let the understanding happen naturally. You don't need to forcefully, insert your previously heard information into the picture. Just continue. So slowly the practice itself will reveal that information. You are not supposed to bring the heard information, learned information into the picture. So keep that away. All that learned information, Suttame Jnana. So you don't need to bring that here during the practice. During the practice, keep the mind very quiet. Don't interfere that with the learned information. So keep it very quiet, and when the understanding develops, you will get the insight.
Report number 3. This has 3 parts. I'll read separately, Bhante. Theruvan Saranai Swamin Wahansa. I have a few questions. Question number 1. You mentioned today in the Zoom recording that as we watch our mind to investigate the nature of that which arises in the mind. I'll read it again. You mentioned today in the Zoom session that as we watch our mind to investigate the nature of that which arises in the mind. At times, however, we may forget to do so, or it becomes too much of a strain to do so. In most instances, is it okay to simply see what has risen?
It depends. So there are different methods. I often mention this. There are not just one method. You can't have a clear-cut statement, okay, this is what exactly you need to do. So rather than that, have many approaches available. So what is applicable there, what is most suitable there, you can use. Say, if you are simply, without going to the content of the thought, you can simply say, it's coming and going. You simply understand it's coming, it's appearing and then disappearing, appearing and then disappearing. So you haven't gone to the content of the thought. Instead, you know the behavior of it. It's arising or appearing and then disappearing, appearing and then disappearing. So you can watch that. That is one approach, aniccanupassī. The other thing is, you can see it in a more dispassionate way. You are completely withdrawn from the process. It is very much like someone else is thinking, so you don't mind. Say, mind is thinking, but you are not disturbed. You safeguard yourself. You disengage from the process, and you are dispassionate about what's going on. So you are not approving this thinking. But the mind is thinking, but you are not approving, you are not interested of. And then naturally it will fade away. That's another method. We can say virāganupassī. Then another method is, say, you can see how things are ceasing. Say, thoughts are coming, but it is going. Rather than seeing the rising side, you may be more interested about the ceasing side, the fading away side, the disappearance side. Nirodhanupassī. And these three methods are quite useful at the beginning. And in case, if you are able to establish yourself in the completely non-grasping state of mind, anisthita state of mind, then there may be other methods available. But for the time being, I think these three approaches may be useful. Yeah.
Part 2. Is it possible to join the Zoom discussion which we listened to a recording of today morning? I found it very useful.
Actually, today is not a recording, so it's a live session. So I was there even though you were here. Because we can't do it here because of some technical issues. That's why I have to be there, and you are connected through Zoom, through the internet, and the session was broadcast. Those links are available. The Zoom links are available in our website. You can visit Nissarana website, weekly Zoom sessions, and there are many Zoom programs are being conducted by myself and various other monks, and you can recognize all those links and make use of them, and then connect to that. And this also maybe should be there. It's a monthly program, by the way. I don't know whether this is there. No, might not be there. No,
I haven't looked.
I can share this kind of the programs that I conduct, the Zoom sessions I conduct. I'll send you the kind of a PDF which have the links to the Zoom sessions as well as the previous recordings. Everything is there.
Okay. Bhante, today one is a overseas one or like?
Yeah. So actually, Shalika she's in New Jersey. She's the one hosting it.
Okay. Anyway, I'll check on, because this is for another yogi. She came and asked me. I said, why don't you put it in a question, because I also don't know that.
Yeah. So in the program list, what I conduct, this is included. Okay. It's a monthly program actually.
I'll check on it. Yeah. Thank you. Part 3. I have found that over the years, possibly due to my practice, I have become quiet, direct in my dealings with people, and not getting interested to be jolly in relationships. Could this happen?
Sorry,
not getting interested to have fun in relationships. Okay, could happen as a result of practice. Could this happen as a result of the practice? I find that some people find it intimidating. Pinsiddu veva.
Yeah, it may be true, because there may be situations that you understand, okay, no point of associating certain people. Unlike before, say previously we had many friends and they are doing something completely harmful maybe, and we also might have been dragged by them, and we were spending fair amount of time in gossiping and whatever things. And as you step into the Dhamma path and you start understanding the harm, it's not a bad thing. Say, assume that you are into gambling. So today we discuss gambling, right? Maybe interesting and you feel really enthusiastic and you feel thrilled when you win. And what's that, dopamine or something is really taking a fair amount of chance. And so people are addicted to that. People really like to get involved in such kind of a game. But later, say as you step into Dhamma, slowly you're being mindful and slowly you understand, okay, this is something to stop. And you are correcting yourself. And whoever the friends talking about it, whoever the friends inviting you to such kind of an activity, now you have to say no, I am not interested anymore. I can't come. So they may stop the relationship. You have to stop the relationship. Can't help. So therefore, we can't say that once we step into the Dhamma path, all the relationships, all the friends, whoever we are used to, will completely be with us continuously, because now we have changed the path. And there may be new friends who may come with you now. You may understand new friends. They are also going in the same path, and they are maybe kind of good examples, encouragements, all those things are there. Now you are going in a different path with some new friends. So therefore, this shifting is unavoidable. So you have to understand that. And that doesn't mean that you are completely cutting off all the relationships. In case whoever need a help, if you are in a position to help, you can do it. But safeguarding yourself in a way, not going back to the old pit kind of a thing. And on the other hand, there may be a situation naturally that you prefer seclusion. That is possible. You feel secluded and you like seclusion, and while being alone you feel happy. It's not that you feel lonely, rather you feel happy, confident while being alone. So that's another kind of a maturity in the spiritual side. So typically what happens is people are very much want some association. Sanganikaramata. Say you want to be with many friends, your siblings and all them, and partying and socializing, too much of involvement, engagements. So many things are there. So we are social beings, socializing. But with the development of the path, then you understand, okay, it's a distraction, it's a burden. So why can't I little withdraw from all this and have a little seclusion? I am happy being alone. So this becomes a kind of a invitation coming from your inside, and better you give an opportunity to that. Not a bad thing. So now you are not promoting socializing, not promoting Sanganikaramata, but that doesn't mean you can't be with the friends or you can't be with the people. When there's an opportunity, a necessity, you can be with them without too much mingle with them. You are dealing with them in a more cordial way, coordinating with everybody. You know how to handle it. So something like that.
Report number 4. Most respected Bhante, I worship Bhante and request permission to share a few meditation experiences on this retreat, please. As a big interest came into my mind to spend secluded life, I allocated this retreat to check my ability to do so and spend more time for sitting meditation. Most of the time I was in a very peaceful state, and today morning I spent more than 1 hour in a very peaceful sitting session, and I did not feel about the time and place too. In some sittings, few thoughts came but cannot recall them again, and identified them as mere thoughts. Body pains also identified as impermanence and changed the posture without thinking too much when it is disturbed. In this retreat, I did not allocate more time for walking meditation and tried to improve my sitting meditation. When observing outside environment, no big interest came to see, and no big interest came to see anything, and just passed them. When others are talking with me for some specific task, I felt those are very lengthy discussions, though they are really short. More preference came to enjoy the silence. Nothing much information is coming to my mind to write in the report too. I humbly request Bhante's valuable advice, please.
Yeah, no problem. So time to time, this kind of seclusion, inclination towards seclusion is not a bad thing. It has done by the Buddha also. I am not saying that you are a Buddha or an Arahant, but these are the models, these are the examples given by the Buddha. It's very interesting that, if you refer Mahasunyata Sutta, the incident for the Mahasunyata Sutta is very interesting. The Buddha arrived a particular place, and there he found many dwelling places are prepared for monks. Many dwelling places. So the group is growing now. So there Buddha, what do you think? Is Buddha happy seeing that many monks are there? His party, his group is really now, making abundant? Or he feel a little difficult? What do you think? Now, typically, if there's a leader, there are many followers and many, group, many his party is growing, then he should be happy, no? But Buddha said the opposite. He said, now many monks coming on this particular area, all with this kind of activity. So this is not this shouldn't be the way, in a way. So what Buddha promoted is this kind of a seclusion. Monks are at different places, not too much close together, something like that. And then there are other instances that Buddha particularly mentioned. Okay, there are instances my mind is lean towards the seclusion, lean towards spending time in emptiness. But unfortunately, at that time, people are coming to meet me. There are kings who are coming to meet me, merchants who are coming to meet me, monks who are coming to meet me. So what I do is to talk in a way that they quickly quit. Not spending too much time with me, but I am making a kind of a talk so that they will quickly leave me. Done. So I can spend time in seclusion. So that's the way. So there may be instances that the mind prefers seclusion, and at that instance we don't need to, destroy that. So rather you understand, okay, now mind prefers seclusion. Yes, I also feel, okay, too much thinking was there. Now it requires the kind of a calmness, clarity, quietude. But people are coming, okay, I'll make the quick comment, so they'll go away. I'm not into lengthy explanations. So they will come, they simply go, and you mind your own business. So I feel, therefore, not a bad thing, but that doesn't mean you are doing every day. There may be instances that you again have to open yourself, give some time for the others, help the others, speak little considerate about their well-being. There may be kind of a balance. So how to balance this is the most difficult thing. How much time we are investing for ourselves, how much time we are investing for others, how to balance this. Because if you are investing too much time for others, sacrificing your seclusion, sacrificing your well-being, then ultimately you being washed away. You being completely get into a kind of a downfall. That is also possible. Too much involved with others' activities. On the other hand, you completely ignore others and you are trying to be quite selfish and safeguard yourself. You refuse everyone's association. So that is going to another extreme. That is also not a comfortable way of living. So balancing these two, knowing your balance, a challenge. We can't say a clear-cut margin, so it's up to you. At that given moment, based on your mindfulness, based on your understanding, so where the mind is, how the mind has to be balanced. Do I need to give some time for the others? Or now I have to look after myself? Quite challenging. A practical question. Everybody has to face. Yep.
Report number 5. Dear Bhante, I have been coming to Kalalgoda for about 3 years and practicing Anapana. During sitting, I can stay without thoughts for a little while after calming down the breath. As I am going through a chronic illness, I would like to know how I could manage / tolerate the pain by practicing Vedanānupassana, or how I should handle the pain. I like to be anonymous as I do not want to discuss my sickness, but greatly appreciate your advice.
Yeah, few methods actually we can discuss. One thing is, say, directly paying attention to the pain. That is one approach. Say there are various pains available, arising, and you are, rather than ignoring them and distracting yourself, you directly pay attention to the pain. And that is also found a kind of a method. Now, this is explained in one of the books I have read by, not the whole book I was able to read, one book called Full Catastrophic Living by John Kabat-Zinn. So he's a fairly thorough person in this area, clinical psychology, etc. So he has found through the researchers that the patients, when they are fully aware of this kind of painful situation, fully aware, not ignorant, rather they are fully aware of these kinds of pains, so they very well manage it. They go through it. They mindfully go through it. So they accept it, they go through it, they be with it. So that's another kind of a different level of approach. So that is also one thing. The other thing is, rather than paying attention to the pain, how about paying attention to something else? Say, assume that there's acute pain in your stomach. Now, if you are trying to pay attention to that acute pain, so that pain can become intense because of your concentration. Then might be even unbearable. Because one characteristic of the concentration is the multiplication of its intensity. The mind, once the mind is concentrated, so it magnifies the impact, it magnifies the effect. So that it's an advantage that we are using in the meditation. Say there may be a slight pain, but once your mind is well focused onto that, you intensely feel it, then you can understand how it is arising, changing, passing away and distributing. All these things are there because the situation is very much like magnified, something like that. So it can be little counterproductive at this level because it can be even unbearable. If it is an acute pain and you are also trying to pay attention, and it can be unbearable, then you might lose the balance. So how about you selecting something else? Once the pain is there, you selecting some other place where pain is not available. Say like breathing, for example. So breathing is a very natural scenario. While the acute pain is there on the stomach, now you are trying to pay attention to breathing. So as the attention to breathing become more prominent, your attention to the pain become less and less. Then you feel more comfortable because you are not paying attention to this pain. That's another method you can apply. Another method that Buddha himself has dealt is to pay attention to signless. So you know that when Buddha is approaching his final passing away, he has gone through severe pain. So he has gone through severe pain because of the kind of diarrhea type of thing. It's a chronic diarrhea situation. Blood involved. I don't know the exact term for that. Leyatisare kila kiyanne මොකද්ද? I don't know the English term. So he has to go through that. So he mentioned to Venerable Ananda that when I am keeping my attention on the signless state, so then I am able to minimize the pain. So signless state means that you are not taking any signs, any marks of the situation. Rather, you are capable of keeping the mind completely signless. So if you are able to do that, that's another approach which is available. So depends on, whether your capacity. To arrive signless, you need to practice. It's a fairly advanced, capacity. So if you are practicing fair amount of meditation, say Vipassana, time to time your mind becomes signless, and then you have to establish on that, practice on that, then it is become accessible to you. You can use that as a mechanism to minimize the pain. So that is another approach.
Report number 6. Venerable Bhante, as a practice, I have been practicing Anapana meditation every morning for about an hour. Then during the day, as and when I get time, I listen to a Dhamma sermon. Before going to bed too, I do a little bit of Anapana. Though I have been practicing like this for some years, time to time there are periods that I totally stop this and live a natural lay life. This happens especially when I am on holiday. However, the habits / realizations I have developed through the practice is intact with me. During day-to-day life, I still practice the metta, mudita, karuna, upekha, and the moment anger, attachment, clinging happens, though it happen, I realize it then and there. So I feel that what I gained through the practice has not gone in vain, but during sitting, I have to make an effort to go back to the state where I was. At the moment, I am on flowing thoughts. Flowing thoughts within bracket Gojaya state, which takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to get into calm state. When my practice gets deteriorate like this, I feel tired and demotivated about the sitting meditation. Your valuable guidance is appreciated.
I mean, there are different situations we have to say. Now, say at one stage, say you are into practice and you did a fair amount of good practice, and after a while you have to engage with something else. You have to completely ignore the practice. Say you spend a couple of months without practicing at all, then there's a possibility you come to the 0 level. So you have to start from the very beginning. You lost the whole beneficial or whatever. So the benefits, all the strengths what you have accumulated through the practice, all slowly dissipated, and you have to come back. You have to start from the beginning. So this is very common thing, typically with the beginners. Say you start, you have a lot of enthusiasm, and you go and participate on a retreat. During that time, you are quite diligent. After coming back home, also you are maintaining that. But there may be some situation, then you have to stop it, then you forget it, ignore it. Then several months you can't make it, everything collapses. Often this happens. The other situation is you are maybe participating to a retreat and you are again practicing at home, and you touch fair amount of depth of the meditation. Say you develop mindfulness, you develop Vipassana, and you are able to recognize, as we discussed today morning also, the arising and passing away. So that is a significant improvement to your practice. And say you are again and again you recognize that, and you are stepping into an area where mind is not attached to anything, not grasping anything. But you are not yet consolidating in that area, but randomly you arrive there. That's another possibility. But there may be another situation, okay, you can't meditate. So you at this stage, due to some reason now, you stop meditation. And probably you might slip. You might slip to the bottom. Because you are not well established on this unattached, non-grasping state. You couldn't consolidate that. So you probably might slip to the very bottom. Or with little effort you may be able to rise up to that understanding. So it depends on you. So the point, in other terms, what I have to say is that the practice has to be made irreversible. If you are able to make the practice irreversible, then there may be instances that you couldn't practice as before, but with some little effort you can come back. So therefore it depends on you. So how much continuously you were practicing, and were you able to consolidate your state of mind, and you made it irreversible. So you are not falling to the bottom, but you may fall to some extent, but with little effort you can establish yourself back in that typical state, the normal state. So therefore, it's very difficult to say as a general rule. It depends on our individual's capacity. So because you know that certain people need some amount of practice, and they quickly establish on this unattached, non-grasping state, and they dwell there, they consolidate there. Due to some reason, they also not practicing for a while, but they can they can quickly come back. But there may be others who require a fair amount of practice. And even if they stop, and once they stop, they collapse. So therefore, different characters actually. So it depends on individual potential each one has.
Report number 7. Dear Bhante.
Yeah, there's a question. Please come forward. So today you are hiding. Taking a break, yeah. She prefers seclusion.
Boss is back. So.
Boss is back.
Thero Swamin Wahanse, now this when you say meditation, does it always have to be closing your eyes and sitting meditation? Are you talking about, or like day to day? Now Vipassana means with your eyes open, no, and
Definitely.
then everything, all the experiences we gain.
Correct.
Then that is what we have to look at the yathartha, no?
Exactly.
Whether we are, as lay people, will enjoy the material things more than you, Bhante, yes. So at that point we have to know how to,
Right.
so is that what you meant?
Correct. So it is not I also agree with you. Now meditation means that's a way of life. So you can't simply say that meditation is merely sitting cross-legged and closing eyes and pay attention. But you have to take it to another level, say while walking, while standing, while doing other activities, you are mindful, you are watching the thoughts, and so very much like it's you are fully in it. So you can't say that I am not meditating at this particular time. So you are coming to a level where you are watching, guarding yourself, guarding your mind, looking at the state of mind every time as much as possible. So at that time you can't say, okay, at this time I am not meditating. Rather, from the morning to, say, from the moment that you wake up until you go to the sleep, so the whole period of time when you are awake, you are fully aware of what's going on, isn't it? Then it is not either you close your eyes or open your eyes, doesn't matter, and you are in the practice. So it should be the way. I mean, at the beginning we can't do like that. You are very difficult to find a time slot, and you take that time, you get a holiday, and you participate in a retreat. So this is how we start. But slowly, as the practice is growing, so it's basically kind of spreading towards the whole different activities of our whole life. Then you feel, okay, I need to meditate. That the inner call is coming. Okay, I need a break. I need a seclusion. It may be while even standing, while even walking, while at office, whatever. So you take a little break time to time, because that is refreshing, and mind requires that, and mind energizes as a result of that. So likewise, you see the advantages in that.
So to refresh ourselves, we do samatha bhavana.
We can't say so. Both. Now say if you are looking at the mind and not being trapped in any thoughts, and you simply see how they are appearing and then disappearing, so we can't say it is mere samatha. So that has samatha component as well as vipassana. So both are necessary, because to clearly see the mind without being distracted to any of these thoughts, that means a fair amount of clarity of mind is there. That means samatha. But to clearly recognize how it is coming, changing, disappearing, so that is a aspect of vipassana, we can say. And then you are understanding the impermanence, the non-governability, all that. aspects of Vipassana, because by seeing you are developing the wisdom. So these are very, interconnected. Samatha and Vipassana, they are helping each other. So even though we talk as two separate things, but they are well connected, they are well helpful to each other. Yeah, that's it.
Bhante, insights are happening during Samatha or during Vipassana? Because Samatha is just deep concentration.
We can't say so. That's the thing. You know that now simply narrowing down Samatha meditation to jhana, I don't think that's proper. Now Buddha mentioned, say, samahito bhikkhave yatabhutam pajanati passati. So samahito bhikkhave yatabhutam pajanati passati means, say, your mind has to be very clear. So you can see everything very clearly, then only the insights are possible. It is not that you are absorbed and locked at a particular place so that you can't do anything, isn't it? So that's a kind of a trap. So you may be in a jhana, and for an hour or whatever time you are there, you don't know how to come out of it. You are there and you don't know what's really going on, and after a while you come out and you can't remember what has happened. So how much fruitful it is, isn't it? There may be a kind of escapism there. You are withdrawn from all the the troubles of the the daily life, and you are in a complete cell-like of a thing. Kind of a escape is there. Other than that, there is no contribution towards the wisdom. So the wisdom is for the wisdom to happen, you have to see things clearly. To see the things clearly, the clarity of the mind is necessary. So that is where the samadhi, we can say, the most productive type of samadhi, where your mind is not distracted to various things, rather your mind is fully aware, very fairly clear, and you can distinctly know how the various phenomena, how they are behaving, how they are arising, how they are changing, how they are passing away. So you can see these phenomena very clearly, and you are not distracted. So then necessary, very, very, say, productive type of samadhi is there. So I would like to say this is the kind of samadhi we are more kind of promoted in Vipassana. Not a very deep absorption which are kind of completely cutting off from the, say, this reality as an escape is not so productive. Now you can refer Salleka Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. So Buddha categorically mentioned, and some people might think, okay, I am in first jhana, I am in second jhana, third, fourth, akasananchadana, all these different things. They might think, okay, I am doing a cutting off of defilements. No. He said no. So it's a mere a peaceful abiding, as a very pleasant abiding, that's all. There is no much contribution towards the wisdom. So that's why this is a kind of a controversial area. So some monks, some teachers actually argue, okay, it's a must to have jhana, yes. Who knows?
Thank you, Bhante. Okay. Report number 7. Dear Bhante, please advise how to correct children when they are misbehaving. The problem is I noticed it, and upadana happens. The mistake of because of tanha.
No, it was written by Chandrika. Anyway, yeah, it's true. So you see them, they make mistakes and you want to correct it, but if they are not listening to you, so what's happening, isn't it? You become agitated, you feel frustrated because I know exactly they are doing the wrong thing and these people are not listening to me. So it can happen. But the thing is, what to do? I mean, there are situations where they have to come to a certain maturity to understand. They understand the advice. Till that they ignore our advice and they think what they do is the correct thing, And Amma, Tata is merely, they are in the old tradition, old fashion, old generation, so their advice is not relevant to today's, modern world. So they think like that. But once they also mature, then they wonder, my goodness, how my mother has done like that, how my father was handling like that. So this is a very common situation. It's a very common thing, even not only in this parenthood, even in a monastery. So say if even the adults, say the senior monks, can see the certain things are going on, and they advise, but the others not paying attention, how to ignore in a way. They have to go through a kind of a maturity. They themselves have to learn through their mistakes. And I have learned that from Ajahn Chah actually. He often has done that. Particularly, I remember in one instance, his old monastery, Wat Non Pa Pong, something. And he advised something, but the monks are not kind of listening, and then many monks left the monastery, and monastery was almost like in a collapse. But Ajahn Chah was not really interfering and advising, and he allowed the things to deteriorate. He allowed things to collapse. But later monks understood, and then slowly things changed. So likewise, we can't say every time the children or the students may listen to us, and we have done the thing, we have trod the path. If they are not willing to accept it, okay, let things happen. And then after a while, after going through a kind of a deterioration, a downfall, slowly they may understand. Can't help. And Buddha himself has done that, that in the in the Gositarama, that Buddha was advising to groups of monks are debating, arguing. And Buddha said, no, this is not the path. You people are arguing now. You people are struggling, quarreling. This is not a good example. And monks simply say, Bhante, you mind your own business. We'll mind ourselves. That's the way that they talked. And Buddha went away to the forest, Parileya forest. And then fortunately, the people start not supporting the monks. They are hungry now. Then they understood. So we have done a wrong thing. So these people are not happy with our behavior. So even the food is not available for us because the teacher has gone away. So we have treated him really bad. Then they understood. So likewise, sometimes it's very difficult to convince through proper terms, but they have to go through some hardships. Be patient. Upekha, equanimity. Okay, so we have spent fair amount of time. If you have any more things, we can spend few minutes. Otherwise, we can wind up the session. Okay, that's all. Right, we'll wind up the session. Thank you very much for active participation.